Okay, welcome everybody to the VANTEC Angel Network meeting. We hold these every single month. We've been doing this since the last century, so we've got a lot of companies have come through our system. So just to refresh everybody's memory, although you would know that we're a group of angel investors located here in BC, supporting our local companies, high growth ventures with capital connections and advice. We are arguably the largest angel group in Canada. We're the largest angel group in Canada, certainly the largest angel group in BC. More than 3,000 companies have come through, and a good number of them have received investments. Right. I'm going to do voice activation. Okay, to grow the BC angel investor community, we really want to acknowledge some groups of people that have really helped us along the way. Of course, we're one of the founding members of NACO, the National Angel Capital Organization, which is the Canadian professional organization for angel groups. And as a member of VANTEC, we're also a member of the US-based Angel Capital Association. And of course, we've got some government funding to help us all along. Next. So we've made quite a lot of investments. So just to let you know, our latest data shows that in 2022, we've invested over $16 million. I think that's what it says, in 154 companies. When it says missing data, that's because we haven't quite tallied up the second half of 2022. Oh, then it's 2023 that but then we just started 2023, so hardly. All right, so we have a couple of associated funds. You'll notice that Woodruff and eFund are featured prominently here at VANTEC because Mike Volker, who founded VANTEC, also founded Woodruff. And of course, there's a whole bunch of us in this room who are part of eFund. So welcome all the eFunders too. So you see that we've been very active through the fund in investing in a lot of companies and also individually at VANTEC if we're not part of the funds. And of course, a lot of us will invest through the funds and individually. Next. So you can become a member for the low price of $600. And if you're associated with other partner angel groups like Keiretsu or actually Keiretsu is even better. You get your VANTEC membership bundled with your Keiretsu membership. But if you're a member of the other angel groups in town, like Angel Forum, or if you are a member of Woodruff or VANTEC, you get a discounted rate of $400. And you can see all the benefits that comes with membership. Yes. Like to thank some of our annual network sponsors. Some of them have been with us since the very beginning. So a big shout out to Fasken and of course to SFU Venture Labs, who has given us this wonderful space to hold our meetings. And we give a nod to Tandem, Western Pacific Trust Company, Raymond James, OKR Financials, Go Recruitment, and Invest Ventures. We have a number of community partners. So besides eFund and Woodruff, of course, we're very tightly partnered with Keiretsu Forum. So I noticed that there's a few Keiretsu Forum members here. Your VANTEC membership is included. Of course, I'd like to thank Tandem, Volition, Go Recruitment, Spring, Rocket Builders, of course, ACA and NACO. So our agenda today, we start off with some community announcements because we're very community minded. We want to really grow the local ecosystem. So that means we rely on you, we rely on each other to grow it. Then we will come into the company presentations. We have two formats, the 90-second formats, and then the full presentations. Then after that, the fun begins online, if you're online, with networking, and also here in person, online plus food and drink. We're always looking for feedback. We've started back in 1999 and things have changed a lot. And so we're continually improving. So if you have some really brilliant ideas, please share them because we're always looking to improve the way we conduct our meetings. We will be asking for preview votes after the 90 seconds. We're going to be doing in full presenting feedback. So fill those out. You're going to be pinged with all these different URLs for you to click and vote and provide your feedback. And then after all this, when you go home, we still will send you an email asking you about what you thought about the event. So it's an event survey. All right, so let's start with some community announcements. I know they're in the room. So SFU, do you want to come up and give your pitch about the great services at SFU Venture Labs?
Hello, everyone. My name is Floyd. I'm an EAR at SFU Venture Labs. I'm here specifically to talk about a really cool event coming up on March 27th. In December, we did an office hour, most of the afternoon in this very space. That was a big success. We had a lot of people attend. We start with a panel first, talking about fundraising and how to structure those kinds of things. So it's particularly founder oriented. And then if you can go to the next slide. You have it. There we go. And then the second part is office hours, where you can actually book meetings with experts of a variety, different kinds of experts to talk about specific topics relating to your venture. So these are one-on-one. Basically. These have been really successful. They're also entirely free, which makes them pretty good, I think. And I would generally recommend, if you are a founder thinking about fundraising, this might get you some really high quality advice to strengthen your pitch, as well as figure out a few other things. If you are an investor and associated, or a mentor and associated with a number of companies, feel free to recommend this event to companies you are affiliated with. Other than that, for those that do not know, SFU Venture Labs is an accelerator associated with SFU, obviously, and is focused particularly on helping companies scale up beyond a certain point. So we position ourselves, our resources and assistance specifically towards that point where you have some customers going, you have some revenue going, you have a team going, but you're trying to figure out how to make your company scalable so you can reach Series A, Series B, etc. We help specifically with that transition, and we put a lot of effort into that. The thing that people find most appealing, and I'll just chuck it down here, is the Marketing Power Up program. On average, this is a program with SFU marketing students in a later year, led by EIRs that have marketing agency background that do project work for free for ventures that are part of Venture Labs, meaning, you know, your first social media plan, a website review, content piece, messaging, you name it, it can be done. It's for free, done by students with those experts, if you are a member. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was SFU Venture Labs office hours. Next up is Spring, and I believe Davinia is online to tell us about her program.
Yeah, hi Telzal. Thank you so much for the invitation. And so my name is Davina McPhail. I'm the director for investment programs at Spring Activator. So one of the partners and the logos that you saw just before. And so really thanking VANTEC and Telzal for giving us this opportunity to share about our program. You know, communities is what also this is all about. So thank you guys for making us part of this. And so at Spring Activator, so we provide investor training for people interested in investing with an impact lens. So we train people and give them an opportunity to invest as part of the training. We have organized multiple impact investor challenges over the past 4 years and have facilitated investment in 9 companies in Canada. So I'm joining you today to share about the Quebec Clean Tech Investment Challenge. So this is a program which is showcasing 15 Quebec-based clean tech. So it's an opportunity for you to look at deal flow in Quebec, where there's an amazing clean tech scene, but it's also a chance to learn more about the local ecosystem and to meet investors and founders across Canada. So we thought this might be of interest to some of you and an opportunity to see a different pipeline. So come and join us and see how they do it in Quebec. So if you're interested, you can connect with me. So I'll share. I don't know if what's the best way to share. I can share in the chat for those who are online. But so I'll share my contact if I can do that. Let me see. Yeah, in the chat here. So please reach out to me. Feel free to send me an email if you're interested in this program. I'm also sharing here the link where you can find all the information that you need. And I'm sure the team can also share that by email for the people who are here in person. So the program itself starts April 12th. And so we'll be running for 11 weeks until June 21st. We're going to present 15 Quebec-based companies. This is actually going to be published tomorrow. So you'll get a chance to see what companies will be presented to the investors. And we are partnering with Foresight and Cycle Momentum in Quebec on this program, and it's supported by HSBC. And so just kind of final numbers on this. The program itself is going to be bilingual. So if you don't speak French, don't be shy. Please join us anyway. And so investments ticket will be 10K for accredited investors and 2.5K for non-accredited investors. So it's open to non-accredited investors too. So if you're interested or if you know people in your network, feel free to share about it and put us in touch. Thank you very much. Merci.
Merci. All right, next up, we have our own Roger Killen, our community manager for VANTEC.
Hello, I'm Roger Killen, and I'm the community manager for VANTEC. And what that means is that I help our members have as wonderful an experience in exchange for their membership fee as humanly possible. There are 10 benefits for being a VANTEC member. I want to talk to you about number 10, but to get there, I got to very briefly rapid fire through 1 through 9. Number 1, in a typical year, you are going to get introduced to about 150 high potential local businesses. And number 2, as you will find at 5:30, after each of our monthly meetings, there is delicious networking. Number 3, the monthly meetings are all recorded. Number 4, you have co-investment opportunities. Many of the people here are like-minded, all looking for the same thing. This is a great opportunity for you to meet, greet, and co-invest. You get an introduction to eFund and What If. Now, these are 20-year proven funds with exceptional returns on investment and refundable tax credits, which reduce your capital at risk by 30%. You get an introduction to Western Pacific Trust Company, which, as far as I know, is the only trust company in Vancouver that specializes in private company shares. So when you invest in your RRSP or your RIF, federal government comes in, gives you back a whack of money. In other words, your capital at risk goes down and then down in 2 steps. Number 7. You get an opportunity to join due diligence teams when you're in within eFund, and that way you can apply your interests and your expertise to checking out investment opportunities. Number 8, education and angel investment at discounted rates. Number 9, free membership of National Angel Capital Organization, NACO for short, and the Angel Capital Association, ACA for short. And the one I really want to talk to you about is number 10. Number 10 is that when you are a member of VANTEC, you can bring for absolute free a guest who is likely to be one of your angel investor friends to our meetings. When that investor sees what we do, understands the beauty that is VANTEC, understands the track record of our funds, that investor is likely to join us, become a member, him or herself, and then everyone gets to win. That member gets to win, VANTEC gets to win, startup companies get to win. When we commercialize an idea, we change the world and the world gets to win. This is a win-win opportunity. I really encourage those of you who are VANTEC members to be more active when it comes to inviting your angel investor friends to come and join us and see the beauty that is VANTEC.
Thank you very much, Rogers. That was a nice prelude to the next community announcement. Our next community announcement is actually about our two associated funds. It's about eFund and WoodIF. Now, Mike is not here, so I will talk about WoodIF as well, because even though I founded eFund, I'm also an investor in WoodIF. Mike is an investor in eFund. You'll find that happening a lot in our community. We're investing in each other's funds. We're doing a lot of syndicate deals together. We really try to work the community angle as much as we can. So as Roger so eloquently put it out, and I'll summarize again, it's great to be part of these funds, eFund or WoodIF. They're formed under the auspices of the BC government's Small Business Venture Capital program. And what it does is it gives you a 30% tax credit. So if you invest in these VCCs, as they are called, you will get 30% on your money. And if you choose to use your RSP, assuming that you're in the highest bracket, theoretically, you could pay $26,000 out of your jeans pocket for $100,000 worth of shares. It's a really good deal. And we have invested between the two funds, we've invested in a lot of companies here. And we like to lay claim to fame. And the CEO of one of our star companies, Semios, is here. So you'll hear more from him in just a while, but that's one of the companies that we invested in. And he came through VANTEC. He came through all the angel groups that are here in BC. If you're looking for upcoming events, just go to our website, vantec.ca, VANTEC.ca, and you'll click on, if you click on today's agenda, you will find a whole list of events coming up. I think one of those events is the Startup Visa event. Do you want to say a few words about that, Jackson?
Yeah, we have some very interesting foreign startup visa companies that are making their debut presentation to VANTEC. So it's an online Zoom event tomorrow at 9 a.m. You will be receiving an invitation if you are a VANTEC member. It will be in your inbox. So just make sure you register with the Zoom link and just show up tomorrow. If you'd like to attend otherwise, please visit our website at www.vantec.ca/events. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. All right, so before we get started with all the different presentations, a few ground rules. I believe that was the next up. So if you're an online presenter, please mute yourself, and not just you, but also any devices that you have that beep or ding. We don't want to hear that during the presentations. And, you know, you can network online as well. And I think those of you who were online just before this meeting got a taste of that. So we're going to be doing that again after all the presentations. No soliciting unless you're a presenter. And please identify yourself as, if you're online, as a company, investor, or community member. So that really helps with the networking. If you're in person, there is a square here. So please, if you're a presenter, just stand in the square and keep the microphone close so that everyone can hear you, and just use the remote to advance your slides. I am choosing to use voice activation. Yes. Tips for entrepreneurs. Whole bunch of points on the screen, but basically network like crazy. Network, 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 because you never know who you will talk to, who you'll meet. And, you know, we did have one 90-second presenter that networked like crazy and filled their over $2 million round just on the basis of their 90 seconds. So just saying, we keep your information on GUST up to date because we do share it. I'm one of the members of a larger groups of angels in the Pacific Northwest. And every month I promote our VANTEC full presentations to this group that's based in a little tip of Northern California, Oregon, Washington State, and Idaho. So you get a lot of coverage. Next. All right, those some more practical things. You can take a picture of this. If you're not connected to the internet, there is free internet. So the password is 1999, kind of apropos because that's when we started. Next. After all the presentations are done, the room will be changed and reconfigured so that we would have the presenters at the tables to take more of your questions that you weren't able to ask during the formal part of the meeting. And this is what it looks like. All right, everybody took a snapshot of that. All right, so and there's hard copies on the tables too. Okay, next. All right, so you can always contact us. We're always accessible through our website, vantec.ca, through our email, info@vantec.ca. Follow us, like us at LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And with that, we're going to get started with the very first 90-second pitch, and that's from Breathe Global.
Thank you. I'm going to hand cue the slides. Okay, slide one. Breathe Global's mission is to build the Venti, an inexpensive, negative pressure assisted breathing device, worn without limiting the user's everyday activity. Next slide. Next slide. Our target market is 439,000 patients discharged annually from the emergency rooms and diagnosed with COPD, who will be prescribed a breathing assistive device. Just 5% of these patients represent an $18 million annual revenue. Next slide. An additional market is 50% of the COPD patients who hate their masks. That's a $104 million market. Next slide. Our advances in miniaturization and additive manufacturing and materials will establish us in the multi-billion-dollar COPD market. Next slide. Our Q1 Franken model is here with us today for your examination. In Q2, we will interview 20 COPD patients, outpatients, from 3 different Vancouver clinics to validate the beachhead market. In Q3, a trial begins at the Baylor College Center for Space Medicine, where they are purchasing 2 complete packages of our Alpha model to test and treat astronauts. In Q4, Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City begins a compassionate trial. The trials are just for a shortcut to the FDA approval. Your funding will be used to match the next NRC IRAP follow-on grant for hiring IR, R&P, and begin regulatory approvals.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Breathe Global. Our next 90-second pitch is SkyAcres Agrotechnologies.
At SkyAcres, we are aiming to increase food security in rural and First Nations communities by growing fresh fruits and vegetables inside of grocery stores. Meet Mr. Hamilton. a grocery store owner in northern BC who has a large storage room holding inventory that arrives a few times a year instead of a few times a week, and becomes stale even before it reaches places like his store. Last year, he had to throw out $118,000 worth of rotting produce, and there's 2,000 of these stores facing this problem in Canada. Grocery is expensive up there, where 2 tomatoes cost over $8. Since processed foods are the only affordable option, diseases like diabetes are 5 times more likely in these communities. Food insecurity is at an all-time high, but disproportionately high, as half of all food insecure people in Canada are from Indigenous communities. We use disruptive vertical farming tech to help. We don't spend money on a new building. We don't spend money on converting shipping containers into a farm. We keep CapEx low by converting existing underutilized space in the grocery store into indoor farms. We hire local people to help us grow this produce, bringing jobs and farms instead of just food to these communities. And we make money by selling this produce directly to that same store. We were awarded a prestigious grant from the BC government who fully funded our 500 square feet pilot project in northern BC that can supply over 50% of the store's needs. We converted Mr. Hamilton's big storage rooms into production rooms. Our produce is 75% cheaper, and here we are growing produce beyond just leafy greens. Cost effectively, we're talking red peppers, carrots, cherry tomatoes, and more. We can do this since our patent pending system is the lowest startup cost and lowest energy cost compared to any other vertical farming tech on the market. And our custom geometry allows us to grow more than just leafy greens, all in a single room. And supplying produce to food deserts in Canada is a $1.3 billion market. So during my full presentation a few months ago, I mentioned I wasn't looking for funding at the time, but now we are open to $850,000 worth of investment to set up 7 more stores. Please let me know if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was SkyAcres. Our next pitch is from FMRK Diagnostic Technologies.
Perfect. At FMRK, we're building near-patient diagnostic tests designed for community settings so that we can enable patient diagnosis, medication management, and laboratory testing all in one place close to home. The 3 major components of treating an acute infection are segregated in under 3 different jurisdictions. A doctor provides the diagnosis, pharmacies manage the medication, and a lab tech does the diagnostic testing. But that doesn't have to be the case. Thanks to the expanded scope of practice of pharmacists, they're now able to do medication management as well as the diagnosis. The only thing they're missing is the laboratory testing, and that's where we come in. We have developed a product using artificial intelligence, digital microscopy, and microfluidics that has the best aspects of current technologies, but is developed specifically for community settings. A Canadian metropolitan area of 1.2 million people can annually expect about 190,000 community-ordered urine cultures. Metro Vancouver has about 2.6 million people, so close to 400,000 community cultures ordered annually. Montreal has 4 million people. The Greater Toronto area has 6 million people, so an estimated 1 million community cultures being ordered annually. Canada-wide, we've got 38 million people, so about 5.7 million tests annually that are ordered in the community that can be handled by our more than 11,000 pharmacies across Canada. We're looking to raise $600,000 to match, supplement, or secure IRAP funding for the next 18 to 24 months. If you're interested, love to talk to you afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was FMRK Diagnostic Technologies. Next up is HOP.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie, and as former managing editor and royal correspondent for Entertainment Tonight, I was completely burned out. I need a wellness program that was manageable and was personalized towards me. Turns out I'm not the only one. There's over 4 billion wellness-related TikToks, but many people have trouble sifting through the information. A further 75% of people want a program that's personalized towards them. And this is particularly important now because after the pandemic, 63% of people are more concerned about their wellness, also considering the rising healthcare costs. So I started HOP, an expert-led short-form wellness content platform for entrepreneurial women. We're also implementing AI to help personalize the process for them that we would normally have to pay a costly coach to do that for. These are some of our wonderful experts. So along with myself is my co-founder, Graham, who has over 15 years experience building and scaling companies. Our head of content is Sean, who comes from TMZ, CBS, and more. We've already had some early traction with a 70% interest rate of 1,000 people that we surveyed signing up for our beta. We have a combined network reach already of 55,000 people and a growth across social media platforms of 45%. We are currently raising $800,000 Canadian and are EDC approved. Thank you.
Thank you. That was HOP. Next up is Canada BeaverWealth Finance.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Henry from BeaverWealth. To recap, our business model is to connect between the listed or pre-listed company here in Canada and the Chinese-speaking individuals. Sounds obvious, but it's not that easy. In fact, there are a lot of information out there in the market, probably too many. Our solution is to provide a one-stop shop financial information to the Chinese-speaking individuals at their interest in their own languages, which means exclusive CEO interview, online forum, and IR applications as well. And it works. We have SmartWell, our first clients, just signed on as a subscribing clients 2 months ago. Now, we target high net worth individuals, which is not mission impossible. The numbers look great, but not mission impossible. As a proxy, RoadshowChina.cm have just raised 10 million RMB in domestic market earlier this year. Our strength is definitely on our team. Terry, our China expert, David, a seasoned lawyer in Canada, and me, I've been working in international firms like Bloomberg, Hong Kong exchanges for 20+ years, and I help them to grow their market from scratch. Now, there are several players in the market, but I don't really think that they are a competitor. We have our unique strength. We know exactly what we want, and we are looking for a 500,000 funding together with an IT expert and an IR advisor who help us to grow our business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, BeaverWealth. Note that a lot of these companies are asking not just for money, but also with human capital. So it helps them grow their companies. Our next 90-second pitch is from Cellulotech.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Roman Metievich from Cellulotech. Cellulotech is here to open a new world of biomaterials that are competitive. So in the world, over 100 billion tons of materials are extracted and consumed every year by our economy. From it, only 20% are renewable and only 7% is recycled. To move towards a sustainable economy and society, we need to change that. The obvious solution is to leverage the most abundant organic compound on Earth, cellulose, and grant it the properties we need to replace these materials. For this, we have invented a breakthrough process, green chemistry process, that uses a low-cost bio-based reagent to grant such properties. We can make, for example, paper completely insensitive to water permanently, make it resistant to oil. You work on textiles as well, or board. The process is extremely competitive and cannot be matched by any coating technology. It's just a fraction of a cent per square meter. We can take 2D and 3D shapes, and we use just a few milligrams of reagent per square meter, 100 times less than coating technology. The end biomaterials can be up to 90% cheaper and become recyclable while they were not recyclable before. We focus on the packaging market that is actively looking for such solutions. And for the market, the applications where we are actually competitive cost-wise and offer tremendous benefits in terms of environment, it's over 450 billion. These new materials that we can develop also have applications in construction, healthcare, and other sectors, reaching a much higher market once we can expand. We have a unique knowledge regarding this chemistry that was invented by our chief scientist. Our business model is to license this to several industries. We have a lot of tractions, and all our large corporate partners and leads want to run larger trials with our process, and we are fundraising $2.5 million in order to build a pilot machine before they can invest and put this online under manufacturing businesses. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to networking with you.
Thank you very much. That was Cellulotech. Next up is Mussia Studio. Sorry, my mistake. ReductionTech Inc.
Hello, at ReductionTech Incorporated, we'd like you to imagine a great global cleaning event bringing complete global cooling by 2121, increased biodiversity, mineral and plant diversity, cleaner air, calmer weather, normalized rain, and brighter clouds. We have the best-in-class doublet hydroxyl air dispersal greenhouse gas removal technology, and it will disrupt climate collapse. It scales to $50 a ton and are 200 to 250,000 in equity support for a CSA approval and market entry. The shares are 25 cents per share with an expected 12x by 2031. The Earth's capacity to be triggered by the hydroxyl is very complete, and one technology can do it, and this is the technology that could.
All right, that was ReductionTech Incorporated. Now we'll call up Mussia Studio for their 90-second pitch.
Okay, so my name is Maria, and I'm here to introduce you the very first digital parenting app in history that can actually be used to parent your child. Parents are going to want to use our app because for only $15, it will allow them to provide support and guidance to their children when they're going through difficult moments in life. Our initial target demographic are Gen X and millennial parents who have been diagnosed with a terminal illness because they have a clearly identifiable job they want to get done, which is to leave a collection of wisdom for their children. But no matter how hard they try, they can never fit a lifetime's worth of wisdom into one or a few handwritten letters. So the way our tool works is through a collection of, or a series of pre-recorded on-demand videos that the child can access. And these situational videos are going to be filled with their parents' support, with their love and their guidance. So in essence, these videos are going to be filled with parenting. Our competitive advantage is that parents will have access to our empathy coaching tool, which will help them understand their children's experiences from their point of view. Our total addressable market has projected sales of $231 million with 48 million recurring annually. And our customer base will continue to increase every year with new families formed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mussia Studio. So the contact information is on the screen here. Our final short pitch is from Talius.
Great. Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Keith Gillard. Talius is actually a portfolio company of What If. So many of you are already somewhat involved, and thank you for that. Where's my clicker here? So I'm with Upper Stage Capital. We bought Talius a year and a half ago. It is a clean tech building materials company. It is the North American leader in innovative and attractive roll shutters and solar screens. They are well engineered. They can go on high-rise buildings. We have a 93% market share in schools here in BC. For example, I am raising a $4 million round to acquire a profitable roll-up in Ontario that will allow us to have manufacturing over there, as well as to expand our sales team into the US. I'm going to show you some of the products. We protect from sun. We protect from storms. We provide security. That's a BOFO building on Lougheed. We have, as I said, 93% market share in schools here in BC. We also have a large share in retail. The Holt Renfrew stores, for example, you go by, we have the exclusive on all of the BC liquor and cannabis stores. You'll increasingly see our products there, some of which are also in institutional, that's the Langley Rec Center, high-rise buildings with really great innovation I'll talk to you about. We do branded solutions, so sometimes you won't recognize that there are products. And we do sensor-enabled automation. Come and talk to me later on. profitable company, growing 69% year over year the last year. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. That was Talius. All right, so that's the end of our 90-second pitches. If you're online, you'll see in the chat a URL for you to click to vote for your favorite 90-second pitch. And if you're here in person, there are some QR codes on the table and on the screen that you can use to vote for your favorite 90-second pitch. The top voted pitches will be invited back for a chance to be one of the full presentations. And speaking of the full presentations, we've got 4 coming up. And how this all works at the full presentation level is that they may have started as a 90-second pitch, just like you've seen today. They may have been upvoted. They may have come to a pre-screening event and they were selected to do a full presentation, which means that they will do a 5-minute presentation followed by 5 minutes Q&A. And of course, if that's not enough for you, they will have a spot on the table after we reconfigure the room. So first up, we're going to have Cascadia Seaweed Corporation, and we're going to ask their angel sponsor, Michael Gilbert of Semios, to introduce Cascadia and explain to us why we should be paying attention.
All right, bringing back memories. As Thalzo mentioned, I pitched my company Semios here 10 years ago. And since then, we've grown to 350 employees, about $1 billion valuation. And most of that was attributed to the demand for sustainability and technology solutions for agriculture, which is why I recently invested in Cascadia and joined the board, because I think that their demand for biostimulants, which they can produce from seaweed, is going to actually be driving a lot of sustainability with our customers. So I'm sure Rob can give you more details. Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rob Napoli. I'm CFO of Cascadia Seaweed and an investor in the company. Cascadia Seaweed cultivates or farms seaweed in the ocean in partnership with First Nations to make agricultural products, as Michael mentioned, biostimulants and feed additives that address 2 of the world's biggest challenges, climate change and food security. And to meet this growing demand, we're scaling up our operations, our farms, and building a biorefinery in Prince Rupert, and we're seeking capital to do this. We make biostimulants for crop growers and feed additives for beef and cattle farmers, beef and dairy farmers, sorry. Growers and farmers are facing immense pressure to produce more food, maintain margins, while coping with climate change, worsening soil conditions, rising input costs, and government regulation to cut emissions. Biostimulants are applied to plants and soil to enhance nutritional efficiency and crop quality traits, improve abiotic stress tolerance, and reduce use of chemicals and fertilizers. This leads to higher food production grown in a more sustainable way. It's a market worth $3.5 billion, growing 14% per annum in the last 5 years. And seaweed extracts make up about 1/3 of the biostimulant market globally. And why is it growing? Well, it's pretty obvious. Fertilizer costs have gone up 250% in the last 3 years. It's a well-established market. However, our competitors depend on harvesting wild seaweed. This is capped by annual quota due to potential for environmental damage. And they're also limited to just one seaweed species that happens to be available. Our solution will win because we can control the volume and the qualities of our seaweed extracts and tailor them to specific grower needs. Our biostimulants will attract an even greater premium for being sustainable, and we can attract carbon credits. Cows. Cows are huge emitters of methane, account for 40% of agricultural emissions. Our cow feed additives under development improve the microflora of the rumen biome, improving the animal's nutritional uptake, health, and as a byproduct, reducing its methane emissions. Regulations to reduce methane emissions are becoming ubiquitous. It's only a matter of time. However, our solution can actually help farmers by giving them return on investment by reducing their feed requirements, as well as potential for carbon credits, which we can aggregate and sell as in the markets. Our competitors exist in the R&D stage, focusing on reducing methane as well. However, they do not focus on the ROI to the farmer, namely the feed conversion ratio. We work in partnership with First Nations, the traditional stewards of the ocean, to cut through red tape and get regulatory approvals while accessing large capital pools. Together, we have the fastest roadmap to scale anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. We have currently 8 farms in the water around Vancouver Island, and our production capacity is 250 tons. Our next stage of development is to build a large North Coast hub, 100 hectares, and a biorefinery around Prince Rupert with the Metlakatla First Nation. So we are going from 25 hectares and 1.5 million in revenue to 650 hectares over the next 4 or 5 years and 70 million in revenue. This project is partly funded already to the tune of $4.3 million by SDTC grant, and we expect additional grants to add up to fund a project worth 13 million, and we're seeking capital for the rest. Our exit valuation, there are a lot of biological product companies being acquired by ag chem companies. Here's a few on the slide. And there's also newer seaweed companies raising capital who are trying to reduce cow methane. Our projection is based on getting to 650 hectares within 5 years and producing 40,000 wet tons. And after dilution, which we expect to be reasonably minimal given the amount of grants and government support that we have, we've raised over 7.5 million in grants, by the way. We expect a really good rate of return financially and also environmentally and socially. Our competitive advantages, as I mentioned, we have a unique ability to scale, and that's based on a number of factors. First and foremost, our relationship with First Nations get us to the growth path faster than anywhere else in the world. We have social license support from the government. BC is a perfect place to grow seaweed. It also is proximate to the market. We've got a great team. Here's our team of engineering and science experts, as well as executive team and management team, Michael on the board. People have raised a lot of money, exited companies before. Sorry for going over. Thank you for your time. Look forward to your questions. Okay.
Thank you very much. We do have some time for questions. So we're going to ask some from the floor here. And if there are any online, please put them in the chat. Any questions? Yes, Keith.
Where's your revenue at right now?
Where is your revenue at right now for the people who are online?
Right. Our current fiscal year, which is just finishing up, is 1.5 million, and we're projecting 3 million, with 2 of that locked in for the next fiscal year.
Any other questions? Where is the bulk of the capital for the people online?
Yeah, the farming is capital intensive, George. We're looking to create models with First Nations where they own the farms. To meet our BHAG, 50,000 hectares within 15 years, it's going to take about $250 million, but we believe we can attract a lot of Indigenous capital into the sector. Our goal is for the First Nations themselves to be the seaweed farmers, and we would focus on the science and the marketing of the products.
Okay, we have a question online.
Can you grow seaweed in tropics?
Yes, it's a global industry. We're focused on cold water BC. It's our species are the large brown kelps, macroalgae, so giant kelp, winged kelp, sugar kelp. That's what we focus on.
Any other questions?
Down the back.
In the back?
Yeah, we're focused.
You need to repeat.
Oh, what is the reduction in methane anticipated to be, and the conversion of carbon credits, I think was the question. So The carbon credits can be both from the biostimulants and the agri-feed additives. We're targeting a 10% reduction in methane in cow feed additives. There are seaweeds, various different seaweeds that are efficacious between 10 and 95%. But the seaweeds that are more efficacious are typically harder to grow. We know how to scale our growth. And once we have a seaweed platform, we can add species. So there are other species local and native to BC that are 40 to 66% efficacious for methane reduction. And then our goal is to, because of course the farmer will buy the seaweed and get the carbon credit, we would like to offer to the farmer an option for us to buy it back or give a discount to the farmer, aggregate the credits, and then sell them as a bulk together. Yes, George.
Yeah, on that note, are you certified yet for carbon credits? Or is that part of
No. No. Are we certified yet from Vera or someone like that for carbon credits? No, we're not. So we're still in the R&D phase on the cow feed additives. We don't know the efficacy of our kelps. So we are working with Agriculture and Agri-Foods Canada on the research and development in a collaborative research project. Out of that research, we'll get the results and then we'll move into the certification process.
What's the timeline of your eggs where you anticipate those carbon credits to be revenue?
We would expect our R&D to be finished within a year with minimum viable product next year and starting to sell. And so we haven't got forecasts for carbon credits into the model in the next couple of years, but I expect we should be generating carbon credits within 3 to 5 years.
Another question, Aaron?
Oh, I didn't, I thought I had a slide on that. I must have skipped over it. So we're currently in the middle of a small round right now, 1.5 million. It was mainly a rights issue to existing investors. It's 70% subscribed, but we're opening it up to new angels. And then we'll be this year moving to a Series A round up to 10 million. But I expect a lot of that will come from non-dilutive grants and loans. Yeah, it's a $12 million valuation with a 30% credit. Thanks so much.
All right. So we have another full presentation coming up, and I'd like to call Dave White to introduce Dipstic and tell us why we should be paying attention.
Yeah, I'm not Dave White. I'm Alex. I'm the CEO and founder, and I have Marty with me, the COO. I'll present you to Dipstic. So you Uber to work, DoorDash your lunch, and Airbnb your vacation. Soon, you will Dipstic your car services. What is Dipstic? We'll get there. Let's start with the why and how. This is the why. I haven't met a single person who loves getting their car fixed, tires aligned, and whatnot. And this is precisely the why. Now, it's not even a question of whether you are a car guy or not, because I am. Here I am in the front leading a pack of my car enthusiast club in Richmond, BC. We have about 3,000 members, a lot of which are actually automotive business owners. And even in that group, evidently, people struggle to get service and find each other and provide that service. A lot of car business owners actually approached me and paid me commissions just to bring people to them. So here I was already solving that problem, getting paid. And I thought, aha, how do we scale this to one of the most saturated and competitive markets of automotive service in not just Canada or North America, but the world? And Dipstic is precisely how we're going to do that. We're going to take this $700 billion industry and bring it to the present. Dipstic is how we make car service better. So what's going on in car service? Why is it so bad? Well, we have problems of complexity, inaccessibility, and inefficiency. But if you think about it, it's not really unique to this industry. Many other industries were plagued with these issues and came up with brilliant solutions like self-diagnostics and medical apps. We have curation and smart filters from food delivery, and finally, live tracking from pizza. And we thought we could apply all of these with our Dipstic flavor and just not reinvent the wheel, pardon the pun, and you got it. It's basically your two-sided marketplace for auto services where both sides can introduce their data, find one another, and track and do those businesses. But that's just one side of the story. Another is the social aspect, which is huge in car culture, where the engaging parties can interact with one another like never before. And if you thought that Car service is not sexy. Just look at what LinkedIn were able to do with infusing some social aspects to a job board. So to become synonymous with auto service, we must push a lot in marketing. And while Dipstic solves a physical issue, we must have physical presence as well. Things like banners on shops, retail gift cards, and sponsoring car events and things like that. And also online presence, since we are an online marketplace. And to do that, we have to rely on a lot of revenue. And again, here, nothing groundbreaking. A familiar model of 10% commissions for the business owners, app promotions to just get promoted in search results, and finally, data and insights that will be invaluable and go beyond, oh, it's winter, we better stock up on tires. And on the car owner's side as well, flat service fees that are expected by this point. But if you are a heavy user, you can opt in for a subscription model for premium users, ad revenue from the social side. But more things to consider is the fact that we don't need to hire any drivers. We also have high transaction costs on average, and the market is huge. Over $10 billion in Canada, almost $100 billion in the US, and over $500 billion, over $500 billion globally, and it's expected to grow even further and further in the upcoming 10 years. So this huge market is surprisingly vacant if you look at the map of double-sided marketplaces, but it's not to say that we don't have competitors. People are still looking and getting car serviced, and they're using Google, Yelp, social media, even Yellow Pages in some points. So these are very broad, and it's very hard to find the products you need. So we'll be in this quadrant that is focused on car services. There is Uber hovering about, but they're not in car services, but they are in a familiar area. And there's another competitor that we did find in Massachusetts, but they've been around in 10 years. And I'm still here pitching about the issues, and still everybody struggles with car service. And we believe that what they're lacking is the social aspect. And they're also lacking our team. We are uniquely positioned in Vancouver. It's a hub spot for the rising of automotive industry and tech. I'm uniquely positioned with many relationships with lots of car owners and lots of car enthusiasts who will be our biggest fans, evangelists, and early adopters. With me, I have Marty. We've worked together for 5 years. He's actually been my boss in automotive fintech. He has vast experience in growing businesses and service centers. We have a lot of consultants from within the car community, experts in software development, business development, and auto services. Sorry, I'll get this done really quick. We have a very ambitious and aggressive roadmap. We're looking to grow, expand nationally, and eventually internationally. There's no reason why this business cannot work worldwide, but we're still here in the pre-seed. If you're interested, feel free to join us. We're raising $500,000 Canadian for 15% equity. This is where the money will be allocated. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to hearing from your questions.
Thank you. There. All right, so we're going to start with some questions. Who's up first with questions? Anybody? Either in person or online? Yes, George. Where are you in the minimal viable product phase? This is for the benefit of the people who are online. Where are you in the minimal viable product phase?
Perfect. Great question. Thank you. We're pretty much done with mapping the product and how it's going to look and feel in Figma. So prototype is pretty much done. We've spoken with multiple software development companies. They were all very happy with what they saw. They told us that we're pretty much ready, and we just need the funds. The funds that you saw are kind of like the basic idea of what we're looking at in terms of developing an MVP. We need to have a couple of sides to the app, ones that's on the side of the service providers. But to answer your question, yeah, we're ready to go and build that. That's what we're here for.
Keith?
Talk about your competitive position. What gives you a sustainable competitive?
What gives you a sustainable competitive advantage?
Yeah, I think our sustainable competitive advantage is, like I said before, having a unique position in this market. Vancouver is highly competitive. There's a ratio that's insane in terms of what car services you can get in terms of capita. It's also our position as, myself as a club leader. I have access to 3,000 members who are enthusiastic and are really eager to see a product like that. And it's a problem we encounter every each day. And I don't think that there is like a solution that really solves these questions or the issues that we presented in the car service industry. And we think that ours will.
What about other developers who might also have identified the same?
Oh, sure. I'm definitely, there is a risk of people coming in, but right now there's nothing. And we figured why not just build, a great, solution that will test. We have the people on board to test and try it out. We're talking to a lot of local car shops and they help us to build what it is that they want to see there. And it's just like pretty vacant right now. If we don't do it, sure, somebody else will. And yeah, we want to do it. We are enthusiastic and passionate about it. And here we are.
Okay, I believe Jill has a question.
Talk about your business model. Yeah, the business model is based on SaaS. It's very similar to, I use the term like a DoorDash for car services, but maybe it's not very accurate. It's more like, booking.com because you're not fixing your car every day. So once we get the shops online, which is a costless process for them, there's no really risk or cost involved. We'll just open up the market with our pilot and people will be able to operate the app for free. And like I said, revenue will come from getting business done and on the social side, just from getting content and numbers, if that answers your question. We are not involved we're not car industry. We're not auto service. We're just bringing the car owners and providing them an easy way to locate, a car shop because, you can input your vehicle information on the app and it will already, you can filter, you need tires done, you need your regular maintenance, things like that. And that will populate the car shops and you can see the reviews and that will bring people to them. And then we will take our fees from both sides on that front. Because we found by like talking to people, a lot of it is just here, word of mouth, or like you have a barber and you don't even know that there's a better barber on the road across and you'll never go to that barber. It's kind of like that with auto service. And once you have that open up like that, right? Because if you're using like, for example, DoorDash, you might order stuff from restaurants you've never tried before. So that's kind of like the model we're looking at here.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all the time we have questions in our program, but you can pepper Alex with more questions after all the presentations are done and the room is reconfigured. You'll be standing behind one of those tables. Thank you very much. Okay, next up is Breeze Traffic, and I'm going to ask Kirk Hamilton to come up and introduce Breeze Traffic. Kirk, tell us why we should pay attention. Why should we be investing our hard-earned dollars in Breeze Traffic?
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Tazelle. Well, first of all, just to repeat, you get the 30% tax credit because they're EBC credit approved. But most importantly, I've been working with Breeze Traffic for a number of years, I think about 3 years as their EIR at Foresight. And they have come a long way and just recently secured a contract in order to demonstrate their technology and the benefits of its technology. So a couple of key things why you think you should pay attention. One, they've got an excellent technical team. They're going after a market which is probably more B to G, in other words, business to municipal governments. That's a very sticky market. Once you're in, and you're in for a long time. And with a recurring revenue stream type product, it's very good. And the third key element is they are capital light, so very capital efficient. So some very interesting points. I'm going to let Alexander tell you about it. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Kirk. Thank you for this introduction. How do I click? Okay. So good afternoon. My name is Alexander, and I'm co-founder and CEO of the company called Breeze Traffic. Is it here now? Okay, all good. So I'm Alexander, co-founder and CEO of Breeze Traffic. And I will start my pitch today with showing you one picture. I'm sure that anyone who drives knows this problem. You drive at night, you arrive at an intersection, light is red, you slow down, you stop, you wait, you look around, and you see that you are alone at the intersection. There are no other cars. Okay, then the light turns green, you accelerate, you come to the next intersection, the story repeats. Why? What is that? What's wrong? The answer is that our traffic infrastructure, while technically very complicated, it's not advanced enough. It's not up to the modern standards. And it causes kind of congestions and a lot of other problems. And the biggest of those problems is that all of us who drive have to lose time. We become really nervous and agitated and lose our mood. And we generate a lot of unnecessary emissions, unnecessary. And of those three problems, Breeze Traffic is focusing on emissions. And our passion is emissions, and we're concerned with this issue, but also because emissions make sense financially. It is a big market, it has urgency, it has funding, various government programs available, and it doesn't have technology to solve it. And Breeze Traffic has developed and is developing two elements, technology to address this problem. And our technology is based on utilizing latest developments in AI, in analyzing video feeds from traffic cameras to understand what's going on around the intersection in real time and change lights in a way which decreases emissions. And this decrease in emissions is very significant. It's at least 30%. Sorry for this, thank you. So this number is not just our simulation or just our crazy thinking. It was confirmed by research by Simon Fraser. So thank you, Floyd. So this technology kind of is being also offered to municipalities, our customers, in a friendly way. Friendly, I mean that we know how municipalities operate and how they think, how they procure things. And we're also applying very fashionable SAS model. And our unit of sales is single intersection. And we even call it kind of nickname intersection as a service. It's compatible with all existing traffic management systems. So it kind of overlays, works on top and makes them smarter and more efficient. Currently, it's priced kind of as cost plus, but we're working on pricing it linked to the value of carbon removed. I want to reiterate one statement here is that we do not use new sensors or new cameras or new radars. And it's a big deal. I'm repeating myself because municipalities are really sensitive to new installations, new cameras being installed. They have to shut down the traffic. They have to think about safety. It's big capital, but it's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is maintenance, clearing this, kind of servicing, kind of removing dust and leaves and snow. So for them, it's a big obstacle. So that's why our kind of approach of using existing traffic cameras, which are already plenty, and they're growing like crazy, kind of makes a lot of sense and is a very appealing feature for our customers. So our team is not just strong on technical side, on IT, on computer vision and AI and machine learning, data science. We know how municipalities operate. And how we know it? Because my co-founder spent the last 8 years working as senior data engineer in the city of Burnaby. And we're using his knowledge, his inside knowledge of the processes to our advantage. This slide has a lot of information for which I apologize, but please focus on the center, kind of the orange square. It kind of the largest milestone we achieved to date. It's a contract which was signed in January, only 1 month ago. Contract with TransLink for monitoring traffic at 5 locations in city of Surrey, the most advanced municipality in traffic management in BC and possibly in Canada. And this contract will give us not just credibility and recognition and kind of and money, but it will also give us a unique opportunity to go really deep under the skin of two types of customers: public transit authority, and to see if we could do it, scale our business there, and municipality, which is scalable, repeatable case. So for this, we really want to focus all our attention, all our manpower, and all our capacity on executing this contract to the best possible extent, to extract most value out of it, and to ensure that we can move our venture to the next milestone. And for this, of course, we need some financial support from, we seek some smart money. And this will allow us to achieve the next milestone, which will be validated go-to-market plan and real sales strategy validated by at least 2 new customers, which we plan to achieve by end of 2020, this year, maybe early next year. So between 12 and 18 months runway. So when we execute on this plan, we were confident that we will generate sufficient return to investors, but we also know that we will do good for the planet because we'll remove significant number of tons of carbon from the air. And what's important on this slide, I know I'm sorry. What's important here is that we need only 5 customers to achieve this. 5 customers in 5 years, that's it. So we know this is very much achievable, it's very feasible, so projections do make sense. We also know that in the process, we'll get on the radar screen of the big guys, the legacy companies in the traffic management space, producers of hardware and software, and inevitably will become acquisition target for them. And at this, I will wrap up and invite questions, and I apologize for slide time overrun. Thank you.
Okay, opening up the floor up for questions. So, yes. So the question, I'll just repeat for the online, is how do you measure emission reductions?
Okay. We can see all cars. We can identify them, classify them. We measure their speed, their direction, acceleration, deceleration, and we calculate the emissions based on this information. 2 questions. Our previous question, which we used to give half a year ago, is that electric car, yes, it still wastes energy, but it wastes it here, but emissions come out somewhere else in general. For example, car in Los Angeles generates a lot of coal emissions. In BC is easier. Another question, which is we given lately, is that tailpipe emissions are lower, no questions, but overall environmental impact of EV car, I would say comparable with the ICE car because of the tire wear, which is higher, because of the brake pads wear, which is higher than for ICE cars. So environmental footprint is very much comparable. I don't want to sound theoretical.
That's okay. Other questions? George. So the question is, you identified 5 customers that would give you the projections, revenue projections you identified. What does the profile of a customer look like?
Okay, thank you. So customer is municipality, a city hall. And it's, of course, it is difficult to get our first contract with a new customer. It's not easy. These guys are difficult and slow. But once we get our first contract, first installation, 1 intersection, it's very easy to scale up inside this customer because the same counterparty, the same person, the same process, same budget, just different physical location, addendum to the contract. And to give you some numbers, for example, City of Vancouver has 850 signalized intersections. So one customer can give us 850 installations. I'll just change it to my screen. City of Surrey, for example, where we operate, has more than 400 intersections, signalized intersections. Okay. Customer is 1 city, so only 5 cities in 5 years. In 5 years.
Other questions? Okay, so the question is why 5 cities? What's the logic to picking on that?
Okay, if you look at the screen, kind of the small blue numbers, I apologize for the small font. these numbers reflect the number of installations, number of intersections where we operate. So 5,000 number we can achieve with 5 municipalities and inside the Metro Vancouver alone. Or we can forget about Vancouver, go to city of LA. They have 5,500 of synchronized intersections. So that's logic.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for questions. All right, so our final full presentation is Whiteglove Technologies. And I believe Alban is on the line.
Yes, Teresa, I'm here.
All right, so Alban, please introduce your company and give us a reason why we should invest our dollars into Whiteglove.
Sure, Teresa. So the concept of working from home has really eroded personal boundaries, right? With plenty of people never being sure when work ends and personal life begins and vice versa. This leads to a lot of stress, a lot of frustration, leading to a lot of millions lost in low productivity. And meanwhile, businesses are struggling with calls not being routed to the right person within their teams when employees on vacation, causing disruptions for them as well. Now, Whiteglove has developed what's basically the world's first business rules-driven routing system that can solve this challenge. And when I heard about this pitch, I felt it's like one of the best companies working in this space. So I thought I should invest them and back them here. So why don't I get the team talk more about this?
Sure. Hi. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all. Thank you, Alban, for the introduction. My name is Farhan Hashmi, and I am the CEO of Whiteglove Technologies. So, when was the last time you were on a vacation and you did not receive a call from your work? Or rather, when was the last time you called your bank to find out a very small information and you had to wait in the queue for 15 minutes at least? So this is the challenge, and we are here to address this through innovative technologies. So Whiteglove solution is basically an AI-based VoIP solution for your organization. We consider ourselves the chat GPT in the world of unified communication. Our solution basically works on automated routing based on voice search and also based on the reason you're calling for the call center. Now, when we talk about integration with CRM, it is the need of the hour because it helps generate more leads, it improves customer experience, and it improves better analytics. The major problem today with all the VoIP solutions is long wait times, not possible to search extensions easily, loss of customers due to high wait time, and unresolved issues. This is high time we need to integrate the workplace with home, especially after the COVID era, since work from home is rampant in the industry and it is impacting the work-life balance of all the employees. So the market opportunity here, the total addressable market size is 134 billion USD. We are looking at the serviceable market size of 670 million and with a CAGR of 10%. Our founders, we have a rich experience of 85 plus years on the table with our Chief Marketing Officer, Sufyan Fazal, our Chief Operating Officer, Rahmat Ali, and Chief Revenue Officer, Rajab, and myself as CEO. We have experiences on leading technologies around the globe. We have been successful in these businesses, and we would like to bring this expertise onto the table here. Our solution is two-pronged. We help increasing the ARPU from the existing customers, and we help increase the base by attracting new customers. Three prime features is it's a completely managed telephony services for companies. It is based on geographic location, routing based on geographic location, and smart engine search. When we talk about the innovative features, we have integration with CRM, we have integration with the IoT platform, and we have the integration with internal departments. These are the product visuals we are looking at. In terms of competition, we are unique since we address the issue 360 degrees. And when we talk about our competitive advantage, we bank on the blockchain technology for high security. We bank on the AI engine for automated routing, and we bank on the customer experience technologies to enhance the performance of the companies. Our business model is three-pronged. We have an integration charges on a yearly basis for CRM integration and IoT integration, and we also have the pay-per-use model. Our target audience is 100% business. We already have a traction with 20 small Canadian businesses. We are doing a beta program with them. Our go-to-market strategy, we focus on social media marketing, search engine optimization, attracting new customers, and increasing the ARPU from the existing customers. We are planning to go launch in Canada in year 2, break even in year 3, grow our customer base by 4, and then go international and have an IPO on year 5 onwards. Financial projections, we will be profitable from year 3 onwards, and we'll maximize our profit from year 6 onwards. We are asking for a $500,000 here, majority of which would be required for the MVP as well as the customization and regulatory compliance of Canadian market. With this, I thank you for your time, and let's grow together.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions from the audience, either online or here in person? All right, Gio, I'm going to hand this microphone to you.
Yeah, can you explain a little bit about why you're using blockchain and what problem it's solving?
All right. One of the biggest challenges in the VoIP industry is the security. Systems get hacked all the time. Calls get routed to expensive routes. Telecom operators as well as businesses lose millions every year on that. So this is where we are banking on the blockchain technology to have secure data storage as well as minimize the risk of hacking.
Other questions, either from the floor, here in person? Okay, Stephen?
Who is your VoIP provider on the back end?
Yeah, so we are an engine. We sit on top of a telecom service provider. So we deploy the solution on the cloud. It's a SaaS model, and we integrate with any telecom operator over the SIP technology.
Any other questions?
A question online. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the AI side?
Excellent. Nice question here. Let me explain this with an example. For example, if you are calling your bank, so based on AI, the system would recognize you by your number. It will automatically fetch your personal details to the CRM operator if required. It will give the background. If you have tickets open, it can maybe give you an update on the tickets you already have open. And it can also route you to the agent who has been handling your case directly without taking you through multiple stages again and again.
Is this a house developed AI, or are you leveraging on open source out there?
We are elaborating on the open source AI and defining our own rules onto that engine.
Any other questions here on the floor? Any questions online?
When you say you're talking about the CRM integration, is it, do you have multiple CRMs you'll integrate, or can you integrate with the vast majority of them?
Well, we usually call APIs. So we integrate over APIs, which are universally or globally recognized. So we can integrate virtually with any CRM, whether it is on-prem or hosted on the cloud.
Any other questions online or here in person? Okay, so that looks like all the questions. Thank you very much, Whiteglove Technologies. this concludes all the company presentations for this meeting. And before we conclude the meeting, I would like to give a shout out to the VANTEC team who worked really hard behind the scenes to put this together. You came in, you met with Ayush, Charles, and Peter, and online you had Wendy and the technical team here, Jackson and Mateus. And of course, working hard behind the scenes for all the food and the organization. I'd like to thank my colleague, Frank Lefflar. I'm Felza Ali. I've been hosting these for quite some time, almost since the last century, but not quite. So I hope to see all of you again next month on April 5th. There'll be a theme of climate tech and clean tech. And now, thank you very much and hope to see you next month.